So first thing we'll start with here is we'll start with in the last 2 weeks, we have added, this is like almost not even a real number to me. In the last 2 weeks, we've added 242 listings to the market. That's a lot. 242 listings the last 2 weeks. So I wrote down the number for last when I sent it out, but I bet you with those two combined, we're about 500 listings in the last 4 weeks, which is kind of absurd. So great job, everybody. Keep those listings coming. Next thing, we've got 16 new family members. If you are here, I did not get the pleasure of meeting you all. So if you are here, wave, and we'll all say hello to you. But in the last 2 weeks, we've had 16 people join, which is fantastic. Norma Skeet from Keller Williams came over. Norma. Hey, Norma. There you go. First one was here. Congratulations. Thanks for coming over. Susan Fair from Q Real Estate LLC. Brandon Hawkins. His name is not up there. He was a late ad. Brandon Hawkins, who is a new agent. I'm going to skip that one and come back. Manahe Huchin from Manisha. There you go. Manisha, good to see you. From Keller Williams, welcome. Preet Carr from Keller Williams. Great to have you here. Samara Makpool as a new agent. Abdul Chaudhry from Keller Williams. Caitlin King from Keller Williams. I feel like I've seen that name somewhere. Caitlin. Oh, okay. Gotcha. There you go. Caitlin King from Keller Williams, most recently, but formerly Remax. Sartat Randhawa. Say that, Bertie. You're better at that. Randhawa. There you go. He came from inactive back to active. Carol Dawson from Long and Foster came over. George Jones was a new agent that just joined us. Can you flip my page, Leslie? Can you flip my page? Nair Din came back from inactive to active. Wendy Jackson from Exit Realty. And Raul Fortune was a new agent. Claudio Martins was a new agent. Brandon Hawkins did get added. He was just at the end of this list. The other one that I skipped over was he's going to be our new manager of our Largo location, which we're hoping to expand. So I'm going to tag team that in. Took a couple weeks to get through the paperwork process of a franchise owner, kind of moving over and switching through. But Frank Evans is coming over from Taylor Properties, and we are super excited to have Frank. He's got a large group of people that he hopes to bring over with him. But we are live and open in Largo. We can do settlements there. I will send out that address with the meeting notes, but we can do closings there now. Now we are hopefully going to sign in the next couple of days on a bigger spot there in that same building he's in right now. And then ultimately we are building on the top level there. We'll overlook FedEx Field, about 4,600 to 4,800 square feet, which will be great with like 12, 13 offices, nice conference rooms, glass around the whole thing. It's an awesome top floor overlooking FedEx. We're going to fill that bad boy up. So we're excited, really super excited to have Frank Evans coming over from Taylor Properties, and hopefully he's going to bring a bunch of his friends over from the last two companies that he's at. He's kept a lot of good connections. So welcome to all of our new family members. Great to have you here. Julie came from the kitchen and did not have a burrito yet, so it means they must. Oh, no, she did. She's got just sauce. So there are burritos, but everybody don't go at once because you'll make me self-conscious if you all leave at once. The next big thing we have to announce, we all know, we've been through it a bunch of times, this company just doesn't exist the way that it does now without our support of Cardinal Title Group, and we are really doing a great job of supporting them recently, so I want to thank all of you that do. This next list of people is what keeps the lights on here. So if we flip to our Cardinal Title Group people, and Bernie's going to stand up and help us out. So in the last 2 weeks, we've had 170 closings with Cardinal Title Group. 170. That's fantastic. Thank you, everybody.
Wow.
Let's keep that up. Go ahead. You can have first page.
Okay. We'll start out with Adil Osman, Alex Escobar, Ali D twice, Ana Racanelli, Angel Caballero, Anil Khanna, Arslan Jamil 3 times. Way to go, Arslan. Arturo Salemi, Badar Alotabi twice. Way to go, Badar. Berna Petri, Bob Lovett, Bonnie Harrison, Boris Flores, Brandy Brown, Brenda Anderson, Bruce Goodarzi, twice. Candace Knoll, 3 times. Carmen Carter Howell. Carolyn Walgren, twice. Casey Quitkin, twice. Casey Sampson, 3 times. Way to go, Case. Chandra Kakani.
Christopher O'Neill, twice. Christopher Silva. Cliff I talk to Cliff all the time. I should know how to say his Lapatota, maybe. Crystal Ellis. Dahlia Zamorano. Deb Gorham from Not Even Here and closing deals with us. Denise Rodriguez. Desiree Rigelli 2 times. Diamond Leone. Donna Lee, our Tyson's manager. Emmanuel Nimako. Fahim Saeed. Ferris Eways. Flora Fuentes. Gail Jackson. Gang Zhang. Gerald Robinson. Gloria Banks. Gabriella James Clancy. Gregory Hogan 2 times. Herman Quadros. Herman. It would be nice if there was a space in there. It'd be like, Herman. Hugo Medina. Jay Johnson and Jay No twice.
Jeff Taylor, Jerry Bartlett, Jimmy O'Burns, Joe Lozano, John Harris twice, John McCambridge 3 times. Way to go, John. John Peterson, John Gift 3 times. Way to go, John.
There you go, the Johns.
John Gant, Juan Estrada, Julie Holtkamp, Julie Young, Kashif Rasul, Kathleen Presser twice, Kelly Sampson, Kelly Thomas, Ken Walker, Kenneth Yu, Kevin Finnell twice, Christine Jones twice, Lauren Mayer, Larry Bean twice, Leticia Gaddis, and Lian Nguyen.
Lillian Hoyt, Ma Trin Huen, Monsi Sony twice, Margaret Ireland, saw her in the room, Maria Johnson, Maria Lightly, Maria, how do I say your name? Maria Nicolau. She's here too, I think I saw. Mark Ruxtel, Mary McCarty, Mel Tulu twice, Michael White, Mohammed Wali, Manowar Khan 3 times, great job. Nami Dar twice, Nancy Jacobs twice, Nancy Miller, Nikki Patterson twice, Noel Reyes, Naomi Conaway 3 times. Thank you, Naomi. Nora, can you say your last name for us, Nora? Alajanian. I should know it by now.
Just the way it's spelled.
I say it every time.
Alajanian.
Nora Rivera Yelland once. Oscar Rivera. Pam Mooney twice. Uncle Pat Sampson once. Sorry, I can't say Pat Sampson. I'll say Uncle Pat Sampson. Leslie, flip it for us.
Paul Gunning twice. Priscilla Kim. Rakesh Kumar twice. Ralph Johnson twice. Regina Gahunya 3 times. Way to go, Regina. Rex Thomas twice. Rima Kumar twice. Ritu Desai. Ronald Hickman. Salim Abdi. Samira Rantisi. Sarabjit Singh. Sarah Mormon twice. Sarah Mormon's in the room. Yeah, girl.
2 times.
Twice. Sarah Taylor twice. Shaheen Haroon. Shakita Feltz. Sheila Zelgi. Shelly Schneider twice. Stacy Cato. Sterling Romnall. Stephen Benitez. Tu Wen. Troy Spinogle. Truda Hickman.
Elmac, hit the correct button. There you go. Vita Yusefi twice.
Yeah, Vita.
Vipul Mehta. Yolanda Bell. And Yuri Para once. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you very, very, very much. You have no idea how important this is. Thank you so much. And also, First Heritage Mortgage, any business you can put their way. We have the best loan officers in the business in First Heritage Mortgage. They will never, ever let you down. So please support them as well. Very important. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all. All right, couple announcements. First one, the next slide, I think, Fall Festival. So a reminder, just to save the date that we'll continue to remind you about, Samson Fall Festival, September 22nd. Great Plains all day, noon to 11 p.m. Reserve the day, save it on your calendar, put hearts around it, whatever you got to do. it'll be a great day for all. Obviously, more details coming in the next couple of months, but want to just continue to remind you about that great day that we all want to be a part of. Some location updates. So I touched on this. Largo, Frank is signed up, so we do have that office officially under Samson banner now. And I will send out the address. We can do closings and schedule closings there now. As soon as we get the lease signed on a little bit bigger place that's going to be the holding ground until we get the bigger place built upstairs, we might be able to have some actual offices that we can rent out, probably about 5 initially, 4 or 5 maybe. And then the next step, once we're done in 4 to 6 months, would be 12 to 15. So there will be some locations there. It's right across from FedEx Field. So it's a great location, right off the highway there. But so that's great news. We're looking forward to that. Alexandria location, I know everybody's excited about that. I think we keep saying hopefully June 1. I would say more realistically, probably July 1 by the time they get that built out and finished for us. But there'll be more updates coming on that. We have not come to agreement quite yet on the negotiations on the new Leesburg location, Leesburg-Ashburn location, but we are close. It is in the Villages of Leesburg, in that shopping center there where the Cobb Theaters is, and Smokehouse Live and some other stuff. I think there's Wegmans there too, right? So that'll be a great location for all you Loudon folks that have been interested. We'll have lots of private offices available there. It's a great location, so have that on your radar. If you're interested in an office there, let us know. It probably won't be till October 1, we're thinking, because our current lease is up in Lansdowne at the end of October. But they're going to take some time to build it out, because right now it's just a shell. So we need to kind of come to agreement by June to have it ready for October. So we're close on that kind of stuff. So those are kind of some of the location updates that we've had before. With this, I wanted to some of you guys have seen pictures on Facebook with some of the lunches that we're attempting to do, kind of getting to know people around the different offices. Next Monday is National Harbor, so we're excited to go see those people. The reason I'm bringing it up is this. We think we've got fairly good lists, actually I will say okay lists, at who kind of associates themselves with certain locations. If you see a lunch coming up or you hear about one and you weren't invited by that manager, then let that manager know, or I'll kind of give an update on what's coming up, because we want to make sure you're on the correct list, but we haven't really made a focus on that until now. So next Monday is National Harbor. If you did not get an invite from Tila, because I know that Evite's gone out, then reach out to Tila or reach out to me, and we'll make sure we get you on that list. So that's next Monday. The following Monday, or next Friday, we're going to do it at McLean's office. Then we're combining Tyson's and McLean and Falls Church, because they're right next to each other. We want to do it in the McLean office to let everybody see that. A lot of people haven't seen that office yet, and we're excited to kind of show that off to some people in that general region. So if you're associated with any of those offices or live out there and would consider those offices, shoot me a note. But next Friday, we're going to do lunch out there. It's the 11th, I believe. The 11th, yeah. Carry the one. I think it's the 11th. So we're going to be in the McLean office, and shoot me an email in there. But, we love to see everybody. We don't want everybody just bum rush and show up. We like to make sure you're on your list so we have food for you and know who's coming. And we want it to kind of be more local so the people there can get to know the people that are in that area more. So that's what we're trying to attempt with this. And then I know our Fredericksburg people are streaming in the office down there. Before next meeting, we'll be there as well. May 14th, which is the following Monday, we'll be down in Fredericksburg. So, Bernie, can I ride shotgun? You drive me down there?
Absolutely.
All right. So those are the next ones coming up. So if you did not get an evite for any of those 3 or an invite somehow, reach out to me or reach out to the manager of those offices so that we can make sure you're on those lists, because those 3 are coming up in the next couple weeks here. I know that everybody wants us to get everywhere, but we want to also do a good job effectively running the company. So as much as we'd like to go have lunches every day, we're trying to limit it to 1 a week or so that we can effectively do all the things we need to get done here. But they've been awesome so far. We've been out to a bunch of locations, and it's great to get to see everybody. We went to Lansdowne, Bethesda, and a third one that I'm blanking on right now. Gainesville. Why was I blanking out? I was on all 3. I carried in the Wegmans late to that one. So be on the lookout for those. If you associate yourself with any of those locations out there, we're trying to reach out. On to bigger and brighter news. We have the new printer is in. I don't know if anybody's seen it. It is the Battlestar Galactica back there. It is about from me to Mac. I mean, that's probably exaggerating a little bit, but it is huge. The mailboxes will eventually probably be moved out of there when we get everything going and move the printer. Our mailbox cabinets will probably be moved to the front where the printer is, but to be determined on that once we get the cutter in and set up and all that kind of stuff. So the Erica and Rich are going through rigorous training Thursday and Friday. Our hope is that we will have some information out next week as to far as this is what you can order, this is what you can't, all that kind of fun stuff. It is, they said it takes 2 to 3 days of training. So you can imagine it's not an easy, it's not like our printers where we just hit go and, we just got to make sure they're synced correctly. So there'll be a little bit of a process, but we're excited to get to the point that we should be able to put out real stuff, hopefully next week at some point. And we'll do a really good job of trying to get a lot of options for us that will increase over time. We just need to nail down kind of what we're going to do and how and all that kind of process. But it's here. It needs to be trained up. So we will hopefully be able to do that stuff soon. I think it's going to be awesome. I think Danny thinks it's going to be awesome times awesome. So it is really exciting to be able to put out premium products that we can essentially become a printing press in the sense that stuff you had to outsource for multiple dollars per piece, we're going to be able to do in-house for a lot cheaper and a lot more conveniently for you. So we're excited about this, and we think it'll be my guess is someday we'll have 2 or 3 of those big bad boys, around somewhere. We'll kick somebody out of their office. We'll have a bigger printing center office. So that's all very exciting. Welcome to Samson.com. Raise your hand if you've been there recently. I'm just curious. Okay, good. A good buddy of you. We are putting a lot of stuff there. It's a good site to always update. Leslie's going there right now. If you ever have a question, now the Facebook group's awesome. We are developing that Cardinal Nest, which is going along at a really fast, speedy pace. So much sarcasm in my voice right there. But we're getting closer to being able to get that done. But there's a lot of things that you can find here. We're trying to make this a one-stop shop for a lot of things right now until we get our permanent solution put up. But one thing I wanted to point out was the podcast in the top there. You can just click podcast and listen. We have taped a couple more episodes. We now have 6 up there. 5 and 6, I think, are super, super relevant for right now. We talk a lot, and in this meeting, we can get into like 5 minutes of winning the bid, or 15 minutes tops, because we can't sit here for 2 hours and have a great conversation, right? Well, Sarah Taylor and Scott Koval and I did, and Bobby with the Comic Relief, got into a really good discussion that we put out over 2 parts about how to win a bid, best buyer tactics, from a listing agent, what things are you looking for, but kind of both sides of the equation, and really got a lot of good meat in there, I think. It's one that I was super happy with the way it turned out, I think. So if you are, have some time to kill and want some good insight, I would encourage you to go there and listen to those. If you don't like clicking through the links and you are an iTuner or anybody that listens to podcasts on a regular basis, you can get them on your phone so you can listen to them in your car. If you don't know how to do that, ask a child or somebody under the age of 30. They will hook you up in 5 seconds, I'm sure. It is free and on your phone, and it's easy to do, I promise. So we are out there. If you just search Samson Properties in any of those forums, we should come up, which is pretty cool. When I go to iTunes and type Samson Properties, it comes up. That's really cool to me for some reason. So I'd encourage you to go to those and listen to those. They've got some really good insight there. We did a form that we did not discuss in last meeting. This is a Sarah Briggs. I just combined the 2 people. Sarah Briggs is a person. Well, Sarah Briggs actually was Casey's office manager for years that I worked with. So Sarah, Mike's sister, was like a real person. Sarah Briggs is awesome. So I just combined Sarah Mormon and Mike Briggs' name. But Sarah Moore and Mike Briggs worked together to put this together, and I just said I agree. So I sent this out with the last meeting notes. We have copies of this printed, which Leslie is hopping up to grab right now. We are going to, I put it out in the meeting notes, and we haven't really made it required because we haven't really spoken about it yet or sent a separate email on it. But what this is something that we're going to start requiring on all deals. I know it's annoying. Okay, I did lots of paperwork for years, and and didn't want anything added to the list of required items that we needed to turn in. But this one's kind of super important. It is called the Wire Fraud Alert Acknowledgement. As you see it when it comes out, basically what it's doing, if you scroll down a little, Leslie, it's making everybody aware how prevalent wire fraud has become. It's giving them rules to go by. It is making your client or customer acknowledge that they are seeing what these warnings that we are giving them. And it's making the agent sign that we've discussed this, or at least have them sign this form, alerting them about this. So you see there's lines for client customer, and there's lines for Samson property agent to write their name and sign. This is a really big deal. And you might say, well, it doesn't affect me, until it's your client that sent $50,000 to the wrong place. You know, the internet is a scary world for people sometimes, okay? They change one letter in an email, or one letter in an email address from an L to an I, and people don't notice, and they send their money to the wrong place. It's easy for me to sit back and be like, well, that was dumb. Why'd you do that? Well, it's easy to do, okay? And there's a lot. We deal with customers every day that aren't as comfortable with the internet as some of us are, that do our jobs on it all the time, that this might be some of their only interactions with it for whatever reason. So you really need to be careful. These are steps, and having this form makes you have conversations with them. It also really pushes people to not trust an email. If there's any doubt, pick up the phone and talk to somebody and make sure these are the correct wiring instructions. This is where I'm supposed to go with it. We think that this will protect you, the realtor, because if you have had this conversation with your client, had them sign this form, and then something were to go wrong, at least you can sleep at night saying, look, we had the conversation, we warned them, I had them sign a form, and they still screwed it up. I feel really bad for this buyer or seller, but we are trying to help you and make you have these conversations, make them sign this, and make them be aware of everything that's going on. Yes, I've got two hands over here. Who's got a mic? Bernie, give up your mic. You're not speaking. Oh, who's first? There you go. Margaret first, then Madonna. All right.
We had a situation yesterday from a closing last Friday on the 27th for the wiring of funds to Florida. And the sellers brought in their checks, voided check with the instructions on where to send it. Yesterday we got a call that the funds had not arrived. And so we called and checked back with SunTrust. Well, we checked here first to make sure that it had been wired, and it had been returned. And when I spoke to someone at SunTrust, they put two numbers on their checks now. One of them is the correct routing number, and the other one is not. And so I said, well, how are we supposed to know? Or how are the clients supposed to know? And the answer was, well, just have them check. If it's a SunTrust account, we'll tell them which one is the right one.
What?
And so when they sent it back out.
That's clear as mud.
Isn't it? But when they sent it back out to the number that they said to send, it got there right away.
That's silly. So the other warning I'll give as they're passing the mic to Madonna is that if a client ever sends a wire, they need to follow up right away with Cardinal or whoever it is they're wiring it to, whether it's a different title company or whoever. Some of these cases it's kind of silly to me, but I guess everybody's different. I had somebody talk to me the other day. They sent a wire like 3 weeks ago, and then they went to check in. It's like, well, you never got this money? It's like, you sent it 3 weeks ago and never checked to make sure it landed? If I'm wiring a bunch of money, I'm checking right away. Hold on, I just sent you $100,000. I'm going to give you a few minutes, but by the end of the day, at the latest, I'm calling me like, make sure you got my $100,000. Because if not, I want to be able to stop. If you can stop these things quickly, you can kill them before they get to the wrong places a lot of times. But that would be the other advice I'd give, and I don't think it's on this form here, is if you ever send anything, it's really a good idea to follow up right away to make sure that it got where it needed to get. And if you were supposed to get money, like say this SunTrust situation, now it's not totally pertinent, but it made me think about it, is if you were supposed to get money Monday because it was a Friday closing, and it gets to Monday afternoon, Tuesday, check. It doesn't matter. But if it gets to Thursday, Friday, you're like, yeah, maybe I should check, see if I got my money. Well, sometimes it's already in the bad person's hands, and we can't get it anymore. So be diligent about checking in within 24 hours to make sure your money either got where it needed to get or got to you in the time it was supposed to be. Now I'll let Madonna speak.
That's all right. This new form is effective now for every transaction?
I would like it to be, yes.
Okay, we're just checking.
Now it will be, I know that things are a struggle to get through to the 1,870 people that are not watching me, because not everybody's watching us right now. And we'll attempt to email it out in a separate form, not just the marketing minutes that I did, or the meeting minutes. But our desire is for it to be required on all forms for now. And I think it's a good practice. I know it's one more thing to do, but I think it's worth it. I don't want to give you more things. I just think it's worth it. Really, any client, because a seller could be sending money in. Now, theoretically speaking, Laura asked, because she didn't have a mic, Laura asked, is it just buyers? Now, theoretically, your sellers are not wiring anything, right? But it's not a bad idea because they might be receiving a wire. So it's a good idea to make sure that they know that they're acknowledging this. The other thing is, it doesn't happen as much, but they might be sending some kind of money for some reason. I would say it's definitely more and more pertinent for buyers. But ideally, I'd like it on all deals. I'm not going to throw as big a stink on a seller, but ideally for everybody. I think we're first here.
So for the listing agent, can we share this form with the other agent that's representing the buyer?
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's my question, too.
It's not a bad idea. But I can't require them to sign a Samson form. But it's not a bad idea to share it with them to say, hey, just for an FYI, this is what we have our clients do. But it's not, I can't require it of them. But it's not a bad idea because everybody should be on high alert for this. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Cece.
No, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, that was what you were going to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Cece's permanent mic. She's passing back to Mac temporarily. Any other thoughts or questions on the wire fraud form? No more. No more. Cece's good for a little while. I see my First Heritage friends. Are all of us back here, Rob? Are all of my First Heritage friends here? You want to come up and speak now? Does that work? Because I'm going to dive into my next topic, but I figured I'd bring in First Heritage now and give us a little chat. Rob McElroy.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Good morning.
I'm Rob McElroy with First Heritage Mortgage. What a golden day.
Yes.
Thank God, finally. So anyway, I'm going to be pretty brief. Just going to want to talk about where rates are standing right now, where the market's moving, and talk a little about VHDA. As you may or may not know, rates have been edging up more significantly in the last week or two. A lot of that has to do with inflation concerns. Inflation is the arch enemy of bonds, which is associated with mortgage interest rates. So we have been seeing rates edge up. So I would clue your clients in that rates are edging up. The sooner that they can lock in, the better, in all honesty. It's kind of flattened out a little bit in the last few days, but they are still continuing to move up, and I think they're going to continue to still move up, unfortunately. So just as a heads up for you on that. I did want to talk specifically about VHDA. I want to make sure everybody knows that VHDA, we do a lot of VHDA loans at First Heritage Mortgage, and they've got, they offer conventional financing with 3% down, FHA at 3.5% down, but the grant is still there. And so the grant, basically, what it works out to be, it's 2% for conventional loans, non-repayable money, it's free money as long as they qualify for it. It is income limited, so there are two different income levels for for qualifying for a VHDA loan, and they do lower the income limits a little bit for the grant, but it's still there. They don't plan on ever getting rid of it. It's going to be something that's going to be a continuing thing. So by all means, definitely try and utilize that. There are some times where it makes more sense. The way VHDA prices their interest rates, and everyone across the state who's a VHDA lender has to charge, basically, they quote the same interest rates. And that's to be fair to the clients. But all clients get the same rate. So no matter if their credit scores are 620, 660, 760, they're all going to get the same rate. So if you've got the client that's got really good interest, good credit, it may not always be the best route for them to take unless they do need the money for the down payment, or they do have to put 1% in the transaction through the grant. But otherwise, if they have the 3% down, they want to put the 3% down, and they've got good credit, it's probably wiser to go with the traditional conventional loan. They're going to get a better interest rate usually because the rates are basically across the board. They don't risk-based price, which is what conventional loans do. Better the credit score, the better the interest rate. So that's pretty much all I had. Did anybody have any questions or anything I can address today? No hands. All right. Well, then I'm done.
There you go.
Thank everyone for the business. We really appreciate it.
A reminder from our last meeting that these First Heritage loan officers, the offensive line standing in the corner over there, and our beautiful Liz over here, They're willing to help you with your open houses. So if you are getting going and want a second, you want some price sheets, you want somebody to join you, you know it's going to be a busy open house, reach out to one of your favorite loan officers. All of them are on that cheat sheet, all of their information and what locations they best service. And we've seen a bunch of them in here, but make a connection with one of them and try to get them to help you out whatever ways they can. They'd love to start making that connection. Madonna's got her hand up again there, Caver. Madonna's trying to give Cece a run for her money today.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
We need a Madonna and a Cece mic next order, Leslie.
I do want to give a shout out to First Heritage. Chris in our office who works with us did an open house with me, a community open house 2 weeks ago. We had over 75 people come through the open house.
Holy moly.
It was absolutely fantastic, and I was so thankful he was there. It's basically an over 55 community. There's a lot of cash deals, but he talked to those people like he owned the house. He was fabulous, and he made a lot of good contacts.
Chris Kelly? No,
Yes.
I'm just kidding. Chris is awesome.
So we are thrilled with their support. It was
That's
fabulous.
awesome. That's awesome. Good job, Chris, and good job all those First Heritage loan officers. They're all awesome, so I encourage you to use them. So the Washington Business Journal, this is pretty cool news, did their annual surveys of all the transactions closed. And in the Washington, D.C. area, the whole greater D.C. market, we were number 4 in all of real estate sales in all the companies. I believe it was like $2.6 billion in sales Samson Properties had in 2017. Sarah's working on some graphs with Leslie, some charts showing some different markets and how good we're doing. She posted one on Facebook yesterday, but it's pretty awesome. You know, how far we've come, and close to 1,900 agents. And I wish I had the number in front of me now, but it was 5,000 or 6,000 transactions and $2.6 billion in sales, which is a testament to all of you all, and super proud of it. Yes. No. Number 1, 2, and 3. Long and Foster. Long and Foster. TT Sotheby's and TTR Sotheby's, and the third one was Washington Fine Properties. No, might have been Keller. I have to relook, but they were up there. Next slide, Leslie. Sales volume. Yep. Okay. All right, down to Max. I don't want to. All right, Max. Now Max Tech Tip.
So, as some of you may know or may not know, we recently updated Donnie's listing presentation, and that all, by recently I mean last few months. That's always been there, but it's just been recently updated with all the new stuff and important stuff, and those sit in the FTP website. If you haven't gone there or didn't know it existed until just now, I recommend you go look at it. But again, take advantage of this because it's a very templatized version that you can easily put your stuff in, take his stuff out type of thing. It is available in PowerPoint, PDF, and now Keynote for Mac users. So every version that you could possibly need is in there for you to use. Like I said, all you have to do is take out Donnie's information and input yours. And there's people here to help you.
You can keep my picture if you want.
Yeah, it depends.
I'm not that good looking, I know.
For a referral fee, right?
No.
Yeah.
Just if you just want my pretty picture on there. Go on then, Mac.
But again, there's people in this office to help you if you need help templatize it, if you ever used PowerPoint or anything like that before, we can sit down and work with you for half an hour for it. Even if you don't have any listings on the horizon or any currently, we think it's a good thing to have one ready to go. You don't know who could call you tomorrow and you need
have
one.
to have one ready. You have to have a listing presentation ready. You have to have practiced it. If you meet somebody in the street at Harris Teeter and say hi to them and they say, I'd like for you to come by, I might want to sell my house, but you don't have a listing presentation ready and you haven't practiced a listing presentation ready, then you're not going to be as eager in that conversation to want to go meet with them because you don't have enough confidence in yourself that you've got your game together. Get your game together now so you're ready when you meet that person. You always got to have them ready. You got to have your listing presentation ready. You've got to have your spiel ready and practiced so that you're ready to go when it's game time. Or else when you they'll sense your lack of confidence in your conversation. If you see them at the Harris Teeter and hey, Bernie, I was thinking, I want to sell my house. Wait, if you hesitate or you don't act fully oh, yeah, forget it. It's over. It's already over because they already lost all confidence in you. If you're like, that's great. When's a good time for you? I'll be by at 5 o'clock tonight. Because you've got a presentation ready, you know what you're going to say, and you've got a package ready to go, then you'll land that list and you'll be ready to go. Be prepared ahead of time, not when you're asked, before time, so you're confident, ready to go. Sorry, I got off my soapbox.
Okay. It takes 20, 30 minutes to do. And that 20, 30 minutes can go a long way in terms of your future business.
Sure.
And again, once complete, we've kind of noticed these can be kind of a good roadmap for anything you do in marketing beyond that, whether you're making a website, brochures, or even just like one-page flyers, because a lot of that stuff is very much the same and you can use at other places. So once you kind of have it, you can use it in a lot of different places, and that'll save you time down the road too. Just in terms of how you frame things, how you talk, stuff like that.
Hey.
That guy.
Current Donny minus 20 pounds. Sorry, go ahead, Mac. I'm interrupting. Go ahead.
Just some like little tips. Just make sure all information is accurate and up to date. Use a recent headshot. If you don't have a recent one, we can take another one for you.
Define recent. No, just kidding. All right, that's good. It's like a year or two ago. I'm good.
I have seen a few that look like they may have been 10 years ago. So
Okay.
make sure you're careful. Include any special deals, offers, expertise you have. Remember, this is basically like a resume. If you have something that you do really well or do a lot of that you leave off, then I don't get that because you want to talk about that.
Right.
Don't be afraid to brag about yourself. I know sometimes that's kind of weird for people to do, but this is kind of your place to do it. Make sure you spell check it. Make sure names are spelled right, cities are spelled right. Have someone look over it.
The other thing having something like this ready for is a lot of times you might get phone calls or email inquiries or stuff. A lot of times having this package ready to ship off right away to people and, oh yeah, great, and you can email it to people right away. If you've got a great package already about all your listing services and what you're going to do, then you've hit them right away with, here's my spiel, let me know when I can meet, but here's this information ahead of time. So having it ready and ready to go is key.
Yep. Also in the FTP, there's, I think it's called the open house flyer. It's along with the listing presentation folder. It's just a one-page flyer that's kind of a briefer synopsis than just a big listing presentation. So I definitely recommend you personalize that one too as well. I know a lot of people asked for that a few months ago too, so that looks good. We have a bunch of videos on Samson U, as you can see up there, of Donny going over his. But then this Saturday, like he said too, he'll be here going over it as well. So if you want to ask questions and see it live and in action, be here this Saturday.
Yes, Sarah's class, then she's letting me barge in to do some of the listing presentation stuff, and we'll both be there to answer questions on how to best do it, and you'll kind of see me go through the whole thing from the beginning to end. So you can always watch it on video, but live and in color this Saturday as well. So open houses, I'm curious how... 2 contracts, that's fantastic. Curious, I think it's encouraging to others to hear if you've had good open house stories. Who's had open houses recently? Good, bad traffic? Anything to share about it? So if you got something, raise your hand. We'll get you to. Mac, I got Laura right there. If anybody else got one, raise your hand so we can get a mic in your hand ahead of time. Laura, how are the open houses going? You guys got like dozens of listings. How are they doing?
Well, they're not on the market
You're selling
yet.
them all. So
Exactly, really quick. But the one that we had in Virginia Run, it was me and my partner who we did it with, and we had 56 people actually sign in the book. So like
56 people sign in?
Counting groups, there
That
must
means
have
you
been
had, like-
over 200
That means
people
you had
through
close
the
to-
through the because they have kids and you know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
like
that's amazing.
So at least 200 people, and we had I don't know 12 offers on it.
12
Crazy.
offers.
Crazy.
That's fantastic.
Stupid.
Was it?
So,
And
done.
you guys think if
Done.
this was the same one I was talking about, it was priced aggressively,
Yeah,
maybe a touch
yeah,
below, but it
yeah.
got bid up because you got
Right.
12 offers on
for
it.
sure.
But
Most
56
definitely,
people,
100%.
you know, and you
100%.
can't minimize how many people,
$5.99.
because you all were there and you're meeting all the people, great, you got the house sold, and you probably would have anyway, but how many connections you made that day, they're going to be future buyers and sellers in that area. You guys are starting to do a good bit of business in Virginia Run, and one listing leads to the next because you met a bunch of people that day that there's no way that 56 groups or 200 total people were all actual buyers. How many of those were the neighbors? A bunch, right? That's fine. All the neighbors come. Come meet me, because someday you're going to sell, and you're going to sell, and you're going to sell, and I want to be able to meet you and have a good rapport with you, and you're going to get my package or my open house flyers that are basically a one-page advertisement for me so that when you're ready to sell, you call me. Or you call Laura.
And
Go
it
ahead.
actually worked really well because the Saturday before, Kat and I door knocked that whole neighborhood, and I mean, you're probably right. 20 people of the 50 some odd people who signed in
neighbors.
were neighbors.
So you door knock and
But-
invite the neighbors to come to the open house.
Exactly, because we sold two houses last year on that same street. And that's actually how we got this listing.
Sure.
Was by the just sold postcard.
Hold on. I'm going to make sure everybody heard Laura. So she got 2 listings on the street, and the third one came because not only was she successful, but she sent out what?
A just sold postcard.
A just sold postcard. It's not rocket science. It's not recreating the wheel. Send the postcards out. You get the next listing, and then when you sold this one, I'll bet you're gonna do what?
A just sold postcard again.
And hopefully you'll get another listing on
Yep,
that.
exactly.
But that's
So-
extra effort, door knocking to get the neighbors to come in. That's awesome.
Yeah, it actually does work.
Look at that.
So.
She's got. Can I hire you to door knock for me? That's extra hustle. You get your steps in too at the same time. Any other open house experiences? We're pointing. Well, there you go, Kathy.
Yes, I had one in Annandale.
Annandale?
Annandale, yes. And I had about 10 groups of families come through, and I got 7 offers.
10 groups through, 7
7
offers. That's
offers.
fantastic.
And then 2 backup offers.
2 backup offers.
And a bunch of leads.
So what happened to the 10th person? They didn't 9 out of 10 made offers. 10th person wasn't qualified. Now, do you think you met anybody that day that could be a future client of yours?
Yes, absolutely.
There you go.
Yes,
Oh, lots of leads?
There were a lot.
I missed
Yes.
that part.
Yes,
Okay.
there were neighbors came who were just scoping the condition, and so I
Awesome.
have their address. I know
Awesome.
who's thinking about selling there. Yes.
There you go. Good job, Kathy. Get out there and do those opens. Meet the people. Any other good open stories? If she had door knocked, maybe she would have got more. No, I'm just kidding. Any other good open house stories that we've got from this week? All right. Oh, Tammy's going to be bold. There you go.
I had a cool open house a couple weekends ago where it was in Centerville in Little Rocky Run, and the neighbor 2 doors down that had just sold their house under contract with a nice agent that I know really well, they wanted to move from the corner of the street in closer. And they had looked at all the inventory and there was nothing for sale that they liked. So they were there about an hour chatting with me, and I'm like, darn it, I'm going to find them a house and put it on the market. So I couldn't get out of the open house because it was so busy. So it was I'd been interrupted like 3 times trying to lock the door. And,
That's the worst.
and I was starting to get upset because I couldn't get out of there, which probably serves me right because I was about 5 minutes late anyway.
Right.
So the last person that came through the open house was a seller that lived around the corner and is getting ready to put their house on the market. I now have an appointment with them, and I can't wait to call Carla, their agent, and tell her.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Very cool. So
It's a perfect house for 'em.
sometimes sticking with it and hanging in there, and you never know when the person you're going to meet is. There were times I put out the sign. There was one that I was picking up the sign at the end of the day and gave away the balloon, and all of a sudden you start talking to the family like, oh, we live in the area, and slip them a card. You never know when you're going to meet that person. We got one more from Sarah in the back, then we'll move on to the next one after this.
I had an open house in South Riding. Is this thing on?
It is.
Okay.
You sound fantastic.
Okay, great. I had an open house in South Riding on a single-family house, and we had 26 groups through.
26 groups. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I was so busy, it was just crazy. I was like, go over there, and you go over there, and you go upstairs, and you go over here.
Hopefully you said it nicer than that. Just
Yeah, I did, but I was like, perhaps you'd like to start with the garage. Perhaps you'd like to start with the, yeah. So anyway, yeah, they're all very happy, and we got 2 offers that night. So
That's
yeah.
fantastic.
And sold.
And I'm
done.
sure with your winning personality, you made lots of future leads, didn't you?
I had a lot of contacts from that. Yeah,
There you
it was
go.
wonderful.
There you go.
So
Great
thank you.
job. So a couple good stories about getting out, doing the open houses. You're going to meet those connections, get those next deals. Other than that, thank you all for your hard work. Thank you for First Heritage. Cardinal Title Group and Samson Properties. Everybody have a great day.
Great job.